everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Boiling Point. I'm Jung.
I'm Caroline.
And I'm Rick.
Let's get into it.
Episode 2.
We've recorded like 50 intros, but none of them have been, quote, good enough.
It wasn't 50. It was like 3.
5.
4.
Anyway, while the peanut gallery argues,
Are you calling me a
Who's
peanut?
the peanut gallery?
let us discuss.
No. Our audience needs context.
I'm
Who's
calling
the peanut gallery?
You two.
You two, the band?
So,
They could sue you.
terrorism.
We could get
Are we
copyright
going-
strike.
You're the one who said it.
Terrorism? No.
You just...
Okay, wait. All right.
Why do I want to talk about terrorism?
Because it's bad. Let's solve terrorism.
No, I was going to talk about freedom versus safety.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it better to be free or safe?
So you're putting out the Weinstein argument.
It's not an argument, it's a question. What's your answer?
Weinstein's question.
What's the answer?
Really depends
On what?
On the situation. On the situation we are discussing, right?
Life in general.
Life in general. Okay. Let me take a minute to gather my thoughts here.
So what he's thinking, Caroline,
Safe.
safe.
Yes.
Okay. That was fast. Jung?
I have to disagree. I think freedom is a little bit more important. That's the word I was looking for.
Okay. Why?
I feel like as soon as you start restricting like what somebody can do as a person, I feel like it kind of degrades what a normal human person can be. This is not a really good argument that I've formulated for hours, but like that's just my gut instinct tells me that, I mean, it's good to be safe, but at the same time, freedoms are a valuable asset that you should always keep in mind whenever you're making a decision.
Okay. Caroline, you said safety is more important. Why?
Would you like to re-say that?
Why?
I think you need another sip of that drink, my guy.
Because inherently I'm a coward. So
Wow.
I think I'm thinking about this in context of like if we were in a dystopian society, right? And there was some kind of take 1984.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I would not.
The book by George
The
Orwell.
book, yeah, the book by George Orwell. If we were living in a society like that, even if I was aware of what was going on and I realized how wrong the censorship was, if I'm being realistic with myself, I don't think I would do anything about it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would like to be the person that says...
You wouldn't be Julia or Winston.
I would like to be a person that says, of course I would fight for my freedoms and I would rebel and I would rise against whatever would happen and I'd forsake my own safety and the safety of my family for this cause that I think is really important because of the higher moral ground that I stand on. Like, even if I go out, I'll go out like guns blazing, that kind of thing. In theory, I would like to be that person, but I don't think I am. I think I would rather decide to keep myself and my family safe and play by the rules.
I wasn't
even if I felt uncomfortable with it.
I wasn't even considering like what would happen to my family if I like let safety go out the window. So I was like, huh. I was only considering myself, cause I'm like, if I was going to be fighting for freedom, then I would just go by myself. I wouldn't even think about what might happen to others. I was just thinking about the greater good.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Does that
Yeah,
change
because
your
I
answer?
think that's the difference between our perspectives, is because I'm thinking very small, like on a micro scale, about what the decision to revolt against a specific government or to assert my right to be free would do, whereas you're thinking about the macro scale of like, yeah, maybe it wouldn't work, but like if it did, how much better life would be. And even if it didn't, you would still change something, right?
Yeah. I'm not gonna change my answer just because I didn't consider that perspective, but at the same time, it's I get what you're saying. Is what I'm.
What do you think, Rick?
I would go with freedom, and it's not just like the classic America, freedom. I bring this up because I have a specific example in mind, and I have an agenda that I'm pushing, as always.
Oh yes.
So
we should have known.
Airport security.
Oh, like
We're all aware-
like security theater.
Yeah, not necessarily the security theater, but the reason it's there, not the methods they use. So we're all aware that it's there because of terrorist attacks on September 11th, 2001.
Mm-hmm.
None of us were alive. Well, some of us may have been born for that, but
No.
we
Well,
were
yes,
infants.
actually you were.
Yeah.
John was an infant, therefore can't remember anything. We've all grown up in this post 9/11 world. We don't.
You existed.
No, I didn't. December 24, 2001.
I
Believe
know,
that,
but
please.
you were a fetus.
I was a
like
fetus.
I did not exist.
Yes, I was a fetus.
I was not fertilized on September 11th, 2001.
That's the exact date.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Parents like, terrorism.
Okay.
So, most of like the security measures are supposed to be like temporary, right? And you hear things like, if you ever been to like a show, they check your bags. There's a philosophical argument that says, well, it's not philosophical. There's an argument that says, well, good people don't have anything to hide. But just because I don't have anything to hide doesn't mean I want my bag searched. Is it not an invasion of the freedom of privacy to have your bag searched at a theater play?
I would rather my bag be searched than someone else's bag not be searched and then die.
Okay.
Well, I mean, if we're thinking about that context, and I can see the reason why safety would be like the number one priority, because if we're looking at it from like the greater good perspective, right? Not having someone's bag searched might result in like the death of like a lot of people, and like the right to privacy for one person might result in like the death of way too many for that to evenly balance out. So I see why like safety is more important in that aspect. However, I think privacy is extremely important. Like, I don't think the government should be able to just know exactly what you're doing, how you're doing it, and like at what times you're doing it, like every single day. It's like, I feel like there's supposed to be a middle ground somewhere, but I don't know what it is.
Do either of you feel like people checking your bags is an invasion of privacy?
Not in
No.
all contexts.
No, not at all.
I brought that up as an example. I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to checking bags at a theater, but it does make you question what's going on. So if the argument for checking bags at a theater is public safety, why don't they check our school bags? There's more people in a school than in most theaters.
Well, some schools have metal detectors.
Yeah, that's why they did the clear bag thing.
So is that? I believe the clear bag thing is an invasion of privacy for students.
Also, I mean, like, sometimes they, like, search the lockers with, like, guard dogs.
Does anybody at our school really use lockers, though? We keep
Well,
everything.
Yeah, but
we
when
can't,
you're
quote,
at
unquote.
school, your private possessions, like your personal property, is subject to search under, like, if they have reasonable.
Yeah, that's like a Supreme Court law.
Yeah, if they have reasonable enough suspicion that something, like, in your locker, they can search your car.
So why don't they just check?
They can search your backpacks.
There have been more school shootings than theater shootings, so why don't they check all of our bags at the door if we're doing everything for safety?
It's not efficient.
It's not efficient to check people's bags at the theater door.
Yeah, but there's less people. In a theater, you have people
there's-
coming in waves at specific times of day that you can plan for, right? Because you know what times the movies start. At school,
starts at the same
no,
time.
but like at school, at our school you have like 1,300 people showing up at the same time.
I mean, if it was
Right?
going through metal detectors, then it wouldn't be that much of an issue. But like,
Also, there's an element of making school seem like a safe place to be, right? So like if you all of a sudden, if you're having the argument that like school shootings happen more than theater shootings, and you check your bags at a theater, therefore you should check your bags at a school, that removes from students the capacity to, like, do you understand? Like,
Yeah,
my
you're
point
saying
is
that-
like if you all of a sudden, if you have people and you start checking people's bags at school and you're looking for specific things, like, people are not going to feel like school is a safe environment anymore. And part of the reason school is important is not just for education, but like for like as a community, right? And so if all of a sudden you start putting up metal detectors and you make the community feel like there's something in its midst that is dangerous, then that erodes at the sense of like the bonds that are so important in school, right? Like,
You saying that hasn't already happened?
well, like if we had metal detectors installed at our school, or if we had people at all the doors of our school checking bags whenever you got inside, wouldn't you be thinking more about whether or not there would be a school shooting?
Yeah.
Like, I would. It's when you walk into school on a given day, you're not automatically thinking, like, what dangerous weapon is someone around me carrying? But if every day you had to stop and go through a checkpoint and think about why the checkpoint was there. Like, say you're really annoyed and you're late to class, but you have to stop and you have to go through a check, and you're like, why the fuck do they have to blah, whatever? And then you think about school shootings and you're like, oh, okay. And then you start thinking about, like, well, they wouldn't do that without cause, right? And so, like, someone could come in this building and shoot people. You know, like, I don't know.
I also think it's a matter of trust, right?
Yeah.
Like, so how much do you trust your student body not to go and do this, like, atrocious act?
Or how much do you trust your administration to, like, take care of problems that before people resort to things like that, right? Like,
Yeah. What's your opinion on this, Rick?
That's the thing. I don't really know, which is why I wanted to bring it up and discuss it. Because it's a hard issue. I personally, as I said earlier, I personally believe freedom is more important than safety. And therefore, the freedom of privacy and the freedom to not feel scared in a school overweighs the safety of not getting shot. But I also go to school and would very much not like to be shot.
a reasonable.
Yeah.
So
I think that safety is, well,
and this is just how it sounds to me, Caroline. It seems like you are arguing in the same camp as I was.
No, I think that people should be free from fear, right? But not to the extent that they are no longer free from being safe, right?
Free from being safe?
Free to be safe. Does that make sense?
No.
Like I have thoughts, I just don't know how to. So if you're
Take your time.
See, I've had a similar thing last night. I was discussing with my parents like the ethics of how to run an election, but that's not the conversation we're having. And it's hard to put your thoughts and feelings into words.
I don't know why I think that because I'm thinking about it like if you think about freedom versus safety like broadly, obviously the idealist perspective would be obviously freedom is the right choice, right? Because
I disagree. I don't think that is an idealist perspective, but it's not the only idealist perspective.
Well,
So let's frame this in like there's a concept called reducto absurdum. Let's reduce this down to the absurd.
okay.
And then work backwards from that.
All right.
Would you rather live in like complete anarchy like the Wild West, or a complete totalitarian state like 1984?
Totalitarian.
It's a hard choice for me. If I were to live in complete anarchy, I could express my opinions and do whatever I want without like any sort of like physical backlash.
No.
No, legal backlash.
Legal backlash, yeah, but like as we said, I would not be safe from anything at all. But if I was in like a totalitarian state, I couldn't really do anything.
You'd be safe from physical threats, but not governmental threats.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do anything that would go against the party, you know. It's a hard choice. My gut instinct tells me anarchy bad, and like totalitarian bad, but I
think we can agree that both
Yeah.
absurds are bad.
Yeah.
I don't know which one to pick.
Which
though.
one do you
I don't know
pick?
which one's better.
I would probably go with anarchy over totalitarianism.
Why?
Because I would rather be able to... The problems wouldn't be so big that I couldn't address them or at least influence them. If I get in a feud with my neighbor, I can just shoot my neighbor. But he can shoot me. But there's no heavy-handed government that's going to come and say, no, so or so is right and there's nothing you can do about it. If someone wants to attack my family, I can defend my family. No police force is going to knock down my door and take my family away from me.
See, I was thinking about it in terms of like if you live in a totalitarian government and you play by the rules, you're also ensuring that your family is safe, right? Because like
Okay, well, let's use 1984. His neighbors played by the rules.
yeah.
But like,
Still got turned in.
yeah, but that was because, you know,
Thought crime.
it was a thought crime.
Yeah.
Which is still a crime. And you can't really control your
it wasn't-
thoughts.
It was like an unintentional crime too. It was like he didn't want.
There's no malice there.
It wasn't
He
that.
wanted to play by the rules. He was, in my opinion, he was trying to do what you're arguing for, Caroline. Playing by the rules to keep his family safe.
But you're not playing by the rules to keep your family safe. You're not playing by the rules if you're playing by the rules to keep your family safe in a totalitarian government. Does that make sense?
Isn't that what you wanted to do, though?
Yes, I'm saying that's what I would do, but theoretically, in a totalitarian government, you're not playing by the rules if you're only following the rules to keep your family safe. You're following the rules if you're if you're a true believer, right?
A true believer would follow the rules because
they're the rules, right? Because you respect the rules and because you respect the authority of the government and because you agree with the government and you would actively go out and like continue the government's work or whatever. So like if you're living in a totalitarian government and you play by the rules, but you don't play by the rules in the way that like to enact the same end that the government wants, then you're not really...
You're following the letter of the law, but not the spirit of the law.
Yeah.
Which technically is another law. You see, I would rather not have to worry about any of that and simply do what
I feel like you would be in more danger if you lived in a world that was complete anarchy.
Well,
because I don't trust people.
That's what he's implying, right? If it was in complete anarchy, that means that there's no rules to guarantee your safety.
Yeah.
There's also no rules to guarantee my oppression.
Yes, but there's always going to be someone who... If the world is in complete anarchy, there's going to be someone or a group of people that are going to try and fix it, right? Mm-hmm. And eventually, when you reach the point where they have decided it's fixed, unless you're a member of that group, you're like still subjected to the whims of someone else. Because I don't think that it's in human nature to be in a situation of complete anarchy and then just like live with it. I think that some person is gonna say, okay, yeah, it's anarchy now. I don't like it, so I'm gonna fix it and I'm gonna make it better. And maybe they start off with good intentions, but then eventually when they reach whatever they think is better, then they stop and then they have to enact rules to keep the people in the place where they want them, and then it turns into a totalitarian government. So why not just start with living in a totalitarian government and not go through that?
Because I don't want to live under a totalitarian government.
But you're going to end up living under a totalitarian government anyway, in my hypothetical situation.
Well, that's not a guarantee, though.
My feeling is...
I think it's a guarantee because I don't think people will live in complete anarchy and be fine with it.
No, of course not. But people aren't fine with
living in totalitarianism.
Yes, but
out of the two bad choices, my poison is anarchy. Because
anarchy.
My poison is anarchy. Because I would rather not have any heavy-handed, overarching, supreme rule system that I have to follow, even if it's unjust or wrong or unethical or immoral.
But my point is, that's not gonna last, right? Like, how long are you gonna be able to actually live in the complete anarchy before someone decides to change it?
They'd have to get a lot of someones to decide to change complete anarchy.
One person can't, like, completely, like...
But
one person can't make a government. And so my macho Western manliness says, yeah, if they try to do that, I can stop them.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. That's how I feel about this. I don't want any heavy-handed, I'm going to say jackboot police forces running around enforcing unjust laws. Mm-hmm. I'd rather just have there be no laws and people running around torturing each other simply because they want to.
I want to keep myself safe, but at the same time, like, I don't want my rights being infringed upon by a totalitarian government. So, It's a bad choice, but
I think it's the difference between us is that, or because it's a podcast, I can't see that I'm pointing. The difference between Rick and I on this is that Rick would rather be moral than be safe, right? But if I live under a totalitarian government, I would. This is gonna sound really bad, but I'd rather like reject my morals. No, God, no.
Oh my God, that's a hard question.
Like
to
because
answer.
it's like whether you would reject your morals to be safe or whether you would be morally just and be in danger all the time. Like if you're a concentration camp guard, right? So like you probably know that that's wrong, but most if not all of them went along with it because what's your other option, right?
The authority told them to do it. So
Yeah.
I mean, the other option is
Die.
Defect.
The other option is die.
Yeah, defect, which means die.
Yeah. So would
There's
you
like a
rather
1%
be
chance you can get
alive?
away with it.
Would you rather be alive and reject your morals or die and die morally, I guess. Die knowing that you did the right thing. I'm just thinking out loud right now.
Are you convicted enough in your morals that you're willing to die for them?
Yes. Do you know for yourself what is right to an extent that you don't care what happens as long as you follow that?
Remember my personal philosophy presentation?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Lawful versus chaotic.
Well, we all know you're lawful.
I'm chaotic.
You think lawful, and you'd think I'd be totalitarian, right?
No, because that's not what lawful.
That's not how I defined it in the presentation.
Like,
for those who don't know what we're talking about, in IB Theory of Knowledge, you have to give a presentation on your personal philosophy to your whole class, and it's real awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I did mine based around as a jumping off point, the D&D alignment charts. Anyway, that's some context for our lovely listeners at home.
Yes.
I did a stand-up comedy routine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a PowerPoint slide.
Yeah. It wasn't that exciting. Yours was also a PowerPoint.
Yeah, but mine had fun Terry Crews in it.
Okay. So
mine was entertaining.
Mine had me.
That's fair.
I was just standing up there ranting like a maniac for like 30 minutes.
I left to go to the bathroom during your presentation, and I came back, and you're talking about weebs, and I almost left again. I was like,
Wait,
I don't
did
remember.
I talk about weebs?
I don't know.
Did you talk about weebs?
I don't think I
I
did.
walked in, and the sentence that you said was so absurd that I almost walked out and back out of the room.
Huh.
Anyway,
that's
John,
not what we're talking about.
You didn't answer the question.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's hard to answer. Okay.
I don't want to say that I'd reject my own morals in order to
we're talking
to
about,
be safe.
No,
I'm just saying But if it kept, it would be different if human beings didn't care about each other, right?
Yeah, but that's not a world we live in.
But like I'm saying, if I didn't care about people, I'd live in complete anarchy. Right.
Okay. That's like the reverse of my logic.
Yes, it is.
If I didn't, if I didn't care about morals, I'd live in complete totalitarianism.
Okay, so like if I'm a concentration camp guard, if I'm defecting from North Korea, if I live in North Korea and I realize that this is not the idyllic place that I've been told it is, and I want to leave, and I'm leaving, right? If I didn't know anyone, if I didn't have a family, if I didn't care about people, there would be no.
You'd have nothing to lose.
Yeah, you'd have nothing to lose, right? But if you had family, if you had a life there, however terrible it was or is, if you like would lose people by leaving, or if you knew that once you left that your family would die or they'd be tortured or they'd have some kind of consequences, like I wouldn't leave. I wouldn't go. But if I knew that nothing would happen to the people that I cared about, then I would.
So the one Korean in a row.
Yeah.
Having lived in the free world my entire life,
Yeah.
I would think that totalitarianism is inherently wrong. But at the same time, I don't think anarchy is the answer to everything.
That's why we reduced it down to the absurd. No shades
Yeah.
of grade. No grade.
No shades of grade.
Dude,
No shades of
No
gray.
you are
shades-
literally
no shades of
misspelling while
gray.
you're talking.
No shades of gray, no shades of grade.
If I was forced to choose, I would go with anarchy.
You are being forced to choose, so
Yeah, so I would go with anarchy.
why?
If it comes down to it, I would probably not do this if this actually happened, but I would rather die knowing that I have all the freedoms that should have been inherently given to me when I was, first conceived, rather than living in like a totalitarian state that suppresses like any sort of dissent or like anything that negatively impacts their government, if that makes sense.
So it's because you want to be free.
Yeah, I want to be chaotic.
I have a question that's kind of related to this. Would you rather live a stable but unhappy life, or a happy but stable, but a happy and
I would pick
unstable
a
life?
happy and stable.
Would you rather be unhappy but living a stable life, or happy and living an unstable life?
We'll make Jung go first again.
I'd rather be happy and unstable, honestly. I mean, if I was gonna, if I worked at an office job and I hated everything about it, I would just probably jump off the roof of that building in like a year, because I would be like so done with everything. Even if it gave me like a stable income and stuff like that, I would rather be just road tripping around the country doing like random sorry, can't cuss in this. Random stuff. I would rather be road tripping around the country doing random stuff and doing what I want to do, rather than just being stuck in one place, in a stable life and like be miserable.
Caroline?
No, you next. I asked the question.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna agree with Jung. Unstable but happy.
I figured both of you would say that.
Are you gonna say
Why?
stable but unhappy?
No, why?
Basically for the same reasons Jung said. If I'm unhappy, then what's the point of the stability? Why would I want something I don't like to be consistent?
Good point.
Yes.
What do you think?
Now you have to answer because you're the only
Yes,
one left.
I do have to answer. Okay. So in the situation that I was projecting, it's like you're in a marriage that doesn't work. Your job sucks, or you don't like it. You're not doing things, like you're not fulfilled. In a situation like that, or like you have kids and stuff like that, like you have a family, but it's just like you're not happy. In a situation like that, I think I would rather be unhappy but keep the not the stability for myself, because I would, if you're unhappy, you're not really stable, right?
Mentally, probably not.
Well, yeah, but like even like yeah. Your world is not stable if you're unhappy. Like, it doesn't matter how much money you have, or like.
So what's your answer?
Okay. So like if I had people that relied on me, like if I have kids, right, and I'm in a job that pays me a lot of money, but I hate it, and I'm unhappy because the person that I married is not the person that I thought they were, or all this stuff, and I'm just not happy in my life, but my kids have a stable life because they don't know that. I wouldn't.
Would you
That's
stick it?
because that doesn't sound right.
Would you stick it out? Are you saying you'd stick it out for your kids?
Yeah.
You stick it out for the greater good instead of like.
No, it's not the greater good because it's kind of a selfish decision.
No.
Right? Yes, because it's like.
If it's to further the,
Like, I would rather be unhappy and making other people happy, and than be happy and have everyone else around me unhappy. Like, I would rather be unhappy and doing something I don't like than not have anyone.
Is that just fear of loneliness?
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean,
Like,
huh?
like I don't know. Like self-sacrifice, right? For like the good of other people.
Right.
So that other people, like, maybe my life didn't turn out the way I wanted it to, but I'm not gonna throw the stability of my life away.
If your life doesn't turn out how you wanted to, that doesn't mean you can't be happy.
Okay, so if I'm unhappy because I want to be doing something else, like I'm not happy in my current position, I'm not gonna. If I was independent and I didn't have like a family or something like that, I would change it. If again, it comes down to like the people, right? Which is why I was thinking about this question, is because like if I had people that relied on me, or if I had people that I was attached to, the choice would be a lot different than if I was by myself. Because it would be selfish to say, yeah, I'm gonna divorce my partner and I'm gonna quit my job and I'm gonna go move somewhere where I've wanted to go for my whole life, and I'm gonna uproot myself, and I'm no longer gonna be there for the people that thought I was there for them.
Okay.
That's why. That's my really, really long explanation as to why I would rather be unhappy and stable.
All right.
So here's interesting observations from this discussion. The two dudes picked freedom, and the one woman picked safety.
Yeah. That is.
That's interesting.
Well, our sample size is 3, so
I don't think you can really take anything from that.
No.
Here, wait. I'm gonna do
not
a
going
poll
to. In
the
Carl
group
Cave.
me.
They won't have any context.
So anyway, do you guys want to go into any actual like
safety.
news topics, or are we gonna make this the philosophy?
I think this is gonna be philosophy.
Okay,
it's more entertaining.
So I guess.
Wait, what should the poll question be?
Would you rather be free? Which is more important, freedom or safety?
I think that's a good way to present it.
Would you rather live under authoritarianism or anarchy?
Okay.
I feel like if you say that, like, people are gonna. I don't think people like anarchy. I don't.
No, wait. I'm gonna say.
I don't think people like anarchy. Two of us here prefer anarchy.
Which,
I mean, like, that's just because we're like, freedom. Like,
Do you think if we lived somewhere else that would, like, wasn't America,
it would probably change?
Yeah, that's how that works.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I'm just saying, like, even if we lived under a different kind of democracy,
like Britain.
Yeah, or like Germany or something.
I think
like that.
Western Europe, our answers are going to be the same. When you get to like Germany and closer to Eastern Europe, that might be different. I think the English-speaking West, it's going to be the same.
I think my opinions like originated like probably because like Probably just because of like difference between South Korea's like views on like LGBTQ communities and like the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
Like here, you're free to express yourself in certain parts of the country,
Mm-hmm.
but like in South Korea, like gay marriage is banned. You like nobody will like officially recognize it. Asian traditional thinking is like gay bad.
Orange
Yeah.
man bad.
So I think that's like a core reason why I think that like freedom of expression and stuff like that is fairly important.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm personally invested in it. Like in front of you guys, I can like make gay jokes all day long. But if I'm like talking to my parents, if I even mention, liking other guys, they would probably flip out and slap me.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm still in the closet for them.
That's an interesting point because, like, sorry, I'm thinking
what
about
part of
this for
what
a second.
part? Because I mean, it's all interesting. It's mostly
yeah.
the background on Jung's thinking.
No, it's
Yeah.
like
Okay, Zuckerberg.
Okay.
For those
I
who
just want to
can't
drink some water, okay?
see, Jung took a very awkward sip of water.
I hit the rim of my glasses.
Imagine having glasses.
I don't remember what I was saying. Yeah, imagine having glasses.
You were saying Jung was interesting.
Imagining having to pay to see.
You,
Don't you have contacts?
Yes.
you were saying Jung is interesting.
I don't know.
A lot of people think I'm interesting.
I don't know where
it's
I was
not-
going with that.
The
I
question
had
is
a
whether it's a
thought
good interesting.
percolating, but it kind of
Thought
evaporated.
percolating.
Yes.
Percolating.
Do you know what percolating means?
Yes.
Okay, well,
I
a
know.
thought was percolating.
Thought.
Yes.
Did you just Google percolating on DuckDuckGo?
Yes.
It's the present participle of percolate. Obviously.
To cause liquid, for example, to pass through a porous substance or small holes.
It's the third to last one.
To make a cup of coffee in a percolator.
No, third to last one.
Oh.
To become lively or active. Percolating meaning like
Become lively or active?
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I never did this poll.
Well, in any case, do you guys want to sign off here?
How long is that?
Like 42
42
minutes.
42 minutes.
Let's push for a cool hour.
I hate you.
You're gonna have to listen.
I'm gonna have to listen to this for an hour. You know that. Okay.
So, more philosophy? Yes.
I think the plan that we should take for this is that odd numbered podcasts should be news, and then even numbered podcasts should be
Ooh.
philosophy.
I like that.
Okay. So if we're gonna do that,
When should
what
the
would you
poll
do
end?
tomorrow at midnight?
Midnight snack.
So
Let's do. I'm gonna do it during school so that we can.
yell at them.
No. I'm gonna do noon tomorrow.
Okay. So how did the both of you, each of you, define the purpose of philosophy as? Why is philosophy a thing? What should its goal be?
What?
What
the
should-
goal of
like,
philosophy?
What is the goal of philosophy?
To
Why?
understand ourselves better,
Yeah.
I think. Right?
Well, kids, people don't like not knowing, right? And so if you have things like philosophy is not a tangible. Like someone's philosophy is not a tangible. People don't like not knowing things, and so in order to explain particular phenomenon, you assign people like a philosophy, right? Like, yeah, they made that decision because they think this.
So what you're saying
Wait,
is,
that doesn't make any sense. Like,
No,
is philosophy
use
like a
philosophy
label?
to explain
Yeah.
the unknown? You use it as
Yeah.
a label?
yeah, well, yeah, kind of. It's just like people.
That's problematic.
What?
I don't.
Say,
Not as a label.
oh,
I'm
you're a
saying,
nihilist. I don't have to listen to you. Oh,
no,
you're
no,
Kantian. I don't have to listen to you.
No.
Oh, you're blue. I don't have to listen to you.
no.
You're blue.
People don't know. People don't like what they.
Don't understand. Fear of the unknown.
Yeah, people don't like what they don't know, and so if you don't, not knowing yourself, which I think is like not knowing your own philosophy, creates discord, right? In yourself. Like if you don't know what you stand for, then like how can you do anything? So philosophy is like a way for people to say, I think this, therefore I do that. I know exactly what I'm saying in my head, but it's not coming out the way that I want it to.
I think what you're saying is that it's to help people make decisions.
It's to help people make sense of the decisions that they make.
To help people make sense of themselves.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't really think philosophy is 100% necessary. Like, there are people who are like walking around right now who don't have like a personal philosophy, like they follow. I mean, they might have like one that's like, you know, subconscious. You know, they like have like a set of morals they might follow, but it's not like a defined
it's
philosophy.
not labeled ism.
Yeah, it's not an ism.
Which I don't think it has to be.
Yeah. So again, with these kind of questions, I have an agenda.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
God. You and your agendas.
So I would argue that the purpose of philosophy is to encourage people to think about how they think more than anything. Because there aren't many people who can be like, oh yes, I'm a nihilist, or oh yes, I'm an existentialist, and those are extreme examples, but you get the point. But instead, people who study philosophy simply see different ways of thinking and might pick out bits and pieces from each. Because, like, did any of you actually read Sophie's World when it was assigned?
Yes.
Yeah.
I read it through and I thought it was a great book.
It was a great book?
It was an okay book.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
I didn't like it.
Have you,
I'm gonna be honest.
have you adopted any of the things they talked about in the book?
Not
Like, in whole?
not
No.
personally.
Like, have you
no.
become a nihilist?
No.
Or
No.
a realist?
I think I found a good label to put on for myself just from like reading and like being like, oh, these are some of the ideas that I follow, therefore I might be this, so I'm kind of implemented that.
Do any of those labels fit well?
No. It's not like a defining, yes, this is me. No, it's more like, oh, these are some principles that I would personally follow in my journey through life.
Were those principles you were already following, or were those new principles you picked up?
I think they were things that I were already following. I say that because I'm not sure, because, you know, I wasn't really thinking about what I was following before, you know, I took TOK.
So you weren't thinking about how you were thinking until you were exposed to philosophy.
Yes. And then after I thought about it, I was like, oh, I kind of like to go through like this kind of way of thinking, I guess. You got
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
So philosophy is really just a way to help us communicate our thinking. That's what it seems like.
Yeah. I mean,
And I've changed my mind. That's
Maybe
what I would argue.
to
the point of
understand
philosophy is.
why we think what we think. Like, sure, you may, like, if you're a nihilist, you think X, but like, why? And so the philosophy of nihilism would explain like why you
Or someone with nihilistic
are
actions
yeah.
can be explained by nihilistic thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
yep.
Did we ever actually answer the security question about airport security or theater?
What was the airport security question?
The theater security one. Did we ever
I
play?
think we.
All I
I
said
think
was
we
security theater. I don't know what the question was.
I think we did. I think we like all came to the consensus that like
Airport security is important.
so, like safety in that context is very important.
So it's one in context for theaters. I'd argue it's almost different for airports. Is it this because it's the security theater that matters? It's the thing that people feel safe by having it. But safe from what? What are they
Other
feeling safe?
Muslims.
Okay, it's normally Muslims.
People don't.
Terrorism.
Yeah, people are scared. So the government, people are scared of terrorism. So the government was like, well, to make people feel less scared and maybe to catch terrorists, we'll enact this. And then people stopped being scared of terrorism. So, that's a lie. like people didn't actively think about terrorism. I'm sure after 9/11 and before they instituted all that stuff with airport security, like people like just didn't get on planes.
They were scared
because they were scared of people like blowing up the airplane or flying it into a building or something like that. But now that we have security, people feel safe and so are willing to
give up their freedoms.
Fly and give up their freedoms to feel safe.
Okay. But the question I was actually getting at with my agenda again.
You have no agenda. You think you do.
I have lots of agendas.
I'm sure you do.
So, what
Go
do
to
they...
Staples.
So,
it's a good one. Go me.
Are you proud of that one?
Yeah.
So they're being safe from a hypothetical terrorist.
Yes, it doesn't matter whether a fear is real or not. People want to feel safe.
Yeah.
So
why are they afraid of something that's not real?
Because they think it's real? What do you mean?
So if we all agree it's a fake fear, why are we afraid?
Well, terrorism is not a fake fear. Like, terrorism exists.
Terrorism, the concept exists.
Yeah. It's not that it's a fake fear. It's that the statistically the you're more likely to die on an airplane by it crashing than you are to die on an airplane from terrorism, right? Mm-hmm. But you're willing to risk the crashing because you're not like, unless you're deathly afraid of flying or something like that. It's not. Sometimes fears in people are important to. That's gonna sound no. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that.
Terrorism uses fear to push a political agenda.
That's what I'm saying. Sometimes fear in a populace is important to. Not important in like it's good, but important in like it
should be considered.
Yeah. Like, if people weren't scared of terrorism, then the government installing, like, TSA checkpoints would not fly past the American populace. Like, if 9/11 didn't happen and the government decided that they needed to start regulating airports and checking people's bags in airports, people wouldn't like it. But since 9/11 happened, even though people are scared of something that is most likely never going to happen to them or to people that they know, because it happened once and because it was like such a big deal, then they're willing to say, okay, like it matters. But with airplane crashes, like, it's not, people aren't, not, if you walked up to someone, like an average American, and you were like, I have a point. I just don't know how to get there.
All right.
Your thoughts, John.
Thinking is hard. How did we get back on
I
airports?
brought us here.
Yeah.
You should not have done that.
I put us in this room.
Yeah, it's all your fault. It's because you're a white man, that's why.
Am I part of the patriarchy now?
Yes.
Yes, you are.
Aren't you also part of the patriarchy?
No, Zheng doesn't count. He's a minority.
I'm a minority. I just dabbed.
And what do you care about?
No. Okay, you're not a minority anymore.
Technically,
I take it.
So you can dab your way out of being a minority? I mean, I can dab my way out of being part of the patriarchy.
No. As soon as
you can
dab,
only dab to bad things. Once you're there, you can't dab back.
How do I get out then?
No. You
No.
can.
Well,
Just be born better.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was great.
you didn't answer the question. You just dabbed.
We also didn't really give him an opportunity to answer the question.
I don't really know what you want from me.
I want your
What
thoughts.
do you want?
My thoughts on airport security?
Yeah, and the philosophical impact it has.
I don't really have an opinion about that. I just think it's a necessary like, I don't want to say necessary evil because it's not inherently evil, but like it's a necessary part of life, I guess, because it's supposed to be protecting us, right?
I can do a lot of things in air protection.
People want to feel safe. They're poor.
They're poor?
I was thinking about. I was thinking about airports, and then I said their airports. Their ports. Therefore.
I should have like a counter on the top right for every time you speak in this entire life.
You said you. Which one of us?
Me.
Rick.
Every time we.
Okay.
No. I've never said a wrong thing
You
in my
just
life.
said the airport.
I said the airport. Obviously, you guys just weren't hearing me correctly. People are okay with airport security because it makes them feel safe. Whether that is a valid conclusion to draw or not doesn't matter. Because,
But that's what we're talking about.
But I'm telling you, it doesn't matter whether it's a valid conclusion to draw or not because people want to feel safe. So
But is that okay?
It doesn't
It's her
matter.
conclusion.
Yes,
It's her
fine.
conclusion.
It's fine.
Just because it doesn't agree with someone else's conclusion doesn't mean.
I know. I'm not disagreeing that she shouldn't have it.
Yeah.
I'm making.
Yes,
I'm trying,
it does.
It's just a
I'm
conclusion.
This is the patriarchy.
Gotcha. I can't say anything now because you just want to shut up, patriarch. So, am I allowed to speak?
Yes. What is your opinion on airport terrorism?
On airport terrorism? I'm against terrorism.
Yeah, that's exactly what the patriarchy would say.
Okay, all right.
right.
Actually, give an opinion because
Yeah.
I don't have one on this.
I don't have one either.
You just gave one.
You did. You just spent 10 minutes giving your opinion.
No, I didn't even give my opinion. I was just talking. That's the problem. I didn't know what I was doing, and you guys just let me ramble.
It's not
Yeah,
rambling.
because-
when we listen back
Because
to
it sounded like you were actually giving like a fairly good point.
No.
Caroline, when you listen back to it, did you think you were rambling?
Yes. There was like a 5-minute stretch of the last part of our last podcast where I was like, what the fuck? Oh, sorry.
Again.
No, shut
Okay,
up.
I'm actually gonna implement bleeps in this one.
For the 2 swear words.
That was a whisper.
three,
I
the
whispered
three.
it. I whispered
And none of
it.
them were me.
Yes, all
Yes.
of them were you. You're just a swear word. You are a swear word.
Yeah, Rick. SMH. Now I gotta censor that out.
Yeah.
Rick.
But all the bleeps in.
I just realized it's gonna be an hour. Anyway.
Just bleep out every time Rick says anything. Just.
This is to suppress the opinion of the patriarchy.
One
Yes.
bleep. Is that a bad thing? No.
So you're saying I'm part of the patriarchy?
Yeah.
I thought we were talking about airport security.
We were, but then Caroline.
Okay,
What? We still
what
are
is your
talking about
opinion on
airport security.
Every time I've tried to give it, you've said, "Shut up, patriarch."
No, she said.
No,
shut up.
I've never in my life uttered that phrase.
Oh God. Oh, this is gonna be a loud segment. Anyway,
I'm
go
gonna
ahead.
talk and she's gonna say it.
It.
I was right. So.
That's exactly what.
Let's just let him talk.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Hey, we reached
He's-
the hour mark.
He's not even speaking. When I'm
We
being
reached
quiet,
the
he's
hour
not
mark,
even
ladies and
talking.
gentlemen.
I was waiting for you to
Congratulations.
say
All right, go.
So I think it's sketchy. I don't like it because it's all based on fear of a potential threat.
But a real threat to some people.
A real threat
It's
maybe
a
10 years ago. Has there been another serious airport terrorism?
No,
It's a
because of
potential-
airport security. You
it's
could
a-
argue that.
It's
You
a
could
poten-
argue that, but should you?
It doesn't matter whether you should or not. It's
It
that
does matter.
You could say it's a potentially real threat.
that
mean, it's
still means
real.
a
the
non-real
argument
threat.
is that if people, because people know that airport security is there, and that if they try to do something and be a terrorist then in an airport, on an airplane or something, then people then they're gonna get caught. So it's a deterrent.
Do terrorists care if they get caught?
I'm
I
not a
don't know.
terrorist. I don't know.
I'm saying your argument is weak.
I'm not. That's not my argument. I don't agree
Okay,
with that.
your
I'm just
devil's
saying.
argument is weak.
I'm being Mr. Weinstein right now.
I love being devil's advocate. Camel noise.
When
I'm
we
so
asked
glad-
him about it the next class period, I started recording, but then he didn't do it again.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to do it again. Because
But
he
he
knows we
could've.
would be recording.
He could have, and I would have gotten it.
So that's my opinion. And I feel that's all I'm going to be allowed to get out since I'm being censored.
Camel noise is your opinion?
No, my
Yeah.
opinion is that doing something based on a non-real threat isn't a good reason to do it, and we really need to reconsider why it's there.
What would you do instead?
Set a firm end date, and if something real comes up, bring it back.
Then wouldn't people blame you if something happened?
You can't
Yeah.
win. You can't win
Yeah,
with this.
that's the
kind of
problem with
argument.
security, is it never goes away. You can't argue.
This is very libertarian of you.
Yeah, sure.
No,
I'm not a
just
libertarian,
Making, no,
but-
I'm just making an observation.
Okay, think about it even at school. Why can't we
Yes.
wear hats at school?
Because it
Because
covers
it's
up people's
gangbangers.
face.
Because of safety.
It promotes gangbang.
Yeah.
We're never going to be allowed to wear hats. Because that's
You're
an
allowed
argument.
to wear hats on Spirit Day.
That's an argument against
That is-
safety.
I mean, like, why can't we just, have our hoods up sometimes? Sometimes
Because it
Because it's
hides your
unsafe.
face.
And then
That's
arguing
the,
for
it's
hoods.
the same reason why you're not allowed to wear bandanas in school. Because it can identify you as part of a gang.
Yeah.
That's
Hats-
written in the student
hats
handbook.
are the same. Hats are the same thing, isn't it? Hats
Yes,
are the same
and you're not
thing.
allowed to wear
Yeah.
hats either. But that's exactly what it is. You can't argue against safety because then you're arguing for crime.
Technically, that's true.
Yeah.
And
But
pro-crime
because that's
arguments
why-
are bad arguments.
When you would have to
You would have to like implement
frame
something
it
else.
in a different way.
You have to implement a different security.
Yeah, because
Or,
people
like-
would be unhappy if they didn't feel safe anymore. It doesn't matter whether the threat is real or not. People are still going to feel unsafe if you take away airport security.
So that means the only logical conclusion is to add more safety. More, big quotes, safety.
Isn't this game theory?
In the logic of do
People want to
whatever.
feel safe?
Yeah, in the logic of the government should enact policies that make people feel safe whether the fear is logical or not.
Fear is never logical.
Well, yes. No, I would disagree with that.
But this fear especially.
This fear is illogical. Yes. Not all fears are not.
So the only...
Fear can be logical.
The trend line is only going to be more, quote, safety. You can't go back because that's... Now it's no longer safe. You don't want things that are no longer safe. That's a pro-crime argument.
You
It
No,
seems to
because it
me-
doesn't have to be. You don't have to be constantly upping the security, right? You could just stay. The problem would arise if at our current level of security, if another terrorist incident occurred in the United States with someone in an airplane or in an airport, then people would be like, well, that didn't work. Now you have to escalate it.
So if someone, say, really wants totalitarianism, that could stage, like a false flag attack. Like, say, pretend the Polish attacked you. I need to respond.
Yes.
That's literally
yeah, I know. Yes. I know where you're going with that. That's like the worst case scenario, though.
Reductio absurdum.
Yeah. Well.
I don't know Latin.
You mean to reduce to the absurd. Reduct, reduce, absurdum, absurd.
I don't speak Latin.
Shut up, Frenchman. Bring me a baguette.
No.
Just demande baguette.
You didn't say it right.
I don't speak.
Je demande une baguette.
Je demande une baguette.
Why you gotta be so aggressive? Why you gotta be
what
so
is
aggressive?
A baguette?
You don't peacefully demand something.
What is a baguette?
No. This is asking.
No. I want to know what a baguette is.
It's French for bigot.
I want it.
Okay.
Bring me Mike then.
See? The patriarchy.
Oh God, we just picked the mic like twice.
That's your problem.
Oh God, I hate you so much. All right, are we wrapping this up?
Sure. The pasta has come to a boil.
I thought we said the water has come to a boil.
The water has come to a boil.
Yeah, pasta doesn't boil. You're in chem. You should know that.
What pasta have we been making? What pasta have we been making?
Cooking is a chemistry, Rick.
Yeah, our group 4 taught us that. And I made me eat bad fish.
I remember that. It was disgusting. And you told me later that you didn't cook it right.
No, we didn't.
That's even worse.
You're supposed to use dried cod.
Did you use regular?
We used frozen cod.
That's really stupid.
Oh my God.
You couldn't even follow the directions.
There are no directions.
What do you mean there were no directions?
It just said cod.
What do you mean? How did
did
it not specify?
If you think about it, you're like, what kind of cod should I use? Alive
the first
or
kind
dead?
I could get.
Probably dead. What kind of dead cod? Fresh? No. Frozen? No. Dried? No. Don't make fish in the microwave.
We tried to cook it.
And then we just made Reubens.
It disappeared.
Yeah.
Your Reubens were good.
Paul, we made our kefir and it tasted so good. And then Paul, when I left, was like, he said, mwahaha, let me add some kale.
And it was
Diabolical vegetarianism. Yeah. That's what that is.
That's what the vegans
That
want.
is the vegan agenda.
You know, I'm pretty sure we didn't even make the sauerkraut correctly.
I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
Good.
Because,
it's sauerkraut, it doesn't matter. It's cabbage.
It tastes good.
It's fish. You could die. You can't die from raw cabbage. You can die from raw fish.
It wasn't raw.
I'm telling you.
There was nothing
but
alive.
Is my argument invalid? No, I'm not wrong.
We soaked that fish in so much lime, nothing was living in there.
The thing was that when we were preparing the sauerkraut, we were supposed to leave it out at room temperature for 3 weeks. We left it in our refrigerator for a week, and then put it out to room temperature.
So it was just pickled cabbage.
That was just pickled cabbage.
Do you know what's good? Pickled radishes.
Okay, can we end the show?
Okay.
The water has come to a boil.
The water has come to a boil.
What kind of pasta have we been making?
The pasta we've been making. How about tortellini? A nice classic.
I actually know how to spell it this time.
I'm proud of you. If you didn't, I would assault you.
Rick has left. Does Rick have tortellini?
Oh, there we go. We have tortellini.
We should take a video of that.
Okay. So the tortellini, it's not plain. Maybe we put What was on our pasta last time? Oh, right. Olives and capers and artichokes and stuff.
I actually don't know what capers are. What are capers?
The show will never end.
What is it? What are these things?
They're capers.
I don't
They
know what-
taste really good.
I've
They
never
put them
had
on
them.
if you put them on pizza.
I've never had them.
Hmm.
I've had olives. I've never had capers.
It's kind of like an olive, but it's not an olive at all. Let's just what is on our tortellini? Let's have a nice Alfredo sauce or something with some herbs. I don't know. Go basic. Pesto. Oh, that's a better idea. Some pesto on the tortellini.
Alright.
Pine nuts.
Pine nuts.
That's in pesto.
Rick.
You
have been?
What are you now?
This is the
The
end.
patriarchy.
Okay, thank you, patriarchy.
That has been Rick, now the patriarchy. We will never see him again. Once you go white, you never go back. I'm Caroline.
I'm Jung.
Okay, that's it.
Okay,
Rick, you can't. No, you can't talk.
Thank you for watching.
Okay.
We've killed the patriarchy. Goodbye.
The patriarchy is dead. Oh, the feminist agenda.
Oh God.
All right, bye.
The feminist agenda is to kill me.